I'm going to set it back on there, but I wanted to be able to actually see in here after the rain and see if water's puddling somewhere or where exactly it's getting in. It's more than likely the windshield being cracked and running backwards because like that glass is separated completely. So this seal at the bottom is probably not doing anything really besides holding the water on the other side now. But I wanted to do this just to like keep an eye on everything after it rains, and then we'll see if water's puddling in certain spots it's not supposed to be. Yeah, pretty lucky. None of these little clips broke either, but I'm gonna pop them back in here. Eventually, I just wiped this down real quickly, which looks amazing already. But all this is gonna get repainted, the wiper arms repainted, and I'll pop all these in there and get them repainted. This will look brand new by the time that it goes back on the car. But yeah, for the rest of it, it's just kind of a waiting game. Hopefully tomorrow or the next day I can get to sandblasting all this. I need to go pick up some primer and seam sealer as well to fix all that. And I don't know what I'm going to do for paint exactly. It'd be really nice to have actual automotive paint with hardener in it, but I'll see what I can get together by then. Pulled the roof trim off because I just wanted to see what was underneath here. It's actually really clean. It's dirty, but there's no rust or any major scratches to the paint or anything. And then I went through the flathead screwdriver and scraped all the rust to get the top layer off to break away whatever was loose. So when I blast it, it doesn't take as much effort to get it down to metal. There is a little bit in here, so I just kind of grinded a lot of the urethane out of the way. But it's not really going to be super perfect. I wish I had a shop, because then I'd have, if I had a shop, I'd be able to pull the windshield out and properly like fix this. But for right now, we're just going to knock back everything we can. And then I might sandblast in here, but that depends how much sand I have left. It is getting ugly, so worst comes to worst, that will be later when we take this fender off and have to deal with all this and anything else that's underneath this fender. I can tape the windshield right off then and deal with all this. But for right now, my main concern is to get up and around here, because this is all the area where the trim goes back on and it's just really hard to get to. So it's best to do it right now while I got a crappy windshield in there and I can just freely blast as much as this I have to do. And then when we put the windshield in, I can just put everything back for now until we get around to actually painting the car and taking that trim back off. I'm still kind of worried about down in here because this is pretty ugly and a lot of windshields like to let go at the bottom. So we'll see what happens when we get this windshield out of there. Hopefully a whole bunch of that doesn't come with it, but we'll deal with things as they pop up. Didn't come out too bad. It's definitely not the right color or anything like that. But realistically, if you want, you could just wet sand this little bit of a primer line off of it, and it'd probably be perfectly fine once you put the trim back on. There's a lot more rust on the EG than I thought there was going to be, so we left the car there with the windshield taped into it. I drove it there, but we're going to pick it up with the dolly. Then ironically, James just messaged me around the same time we found out that rust about a shell being in the local scrapyard. So I'm going to go there, check it out, and see if there's any metal I can cut off of it that will work for fixing this one. Walk into the yard. Yes, I guess. Mind your own business. Just drop it right in there. The dash is out. You can really see the extent to the rust. Dad had the dash out a few years ago and he said that there was no rust at all through here, but again, a lot of this is probably from that cracked windshield and sitting all this time. That's bubbled up. It seems solid, like, so it might just be a matter of cleaning all that up, at least over on this side. We obviously know there's a hole somewhere around here on the other side of the window, starting to bubble a little there. And that hole goes right through into here. So it's a good thing I cut that whole corner piece out. I'm going to pull the plastic trim off and part of the headliner now. But yeah, we can actually get in here and see what we're dealing with now. In behind the firewall, from everywhere I've looked so far, the firewall itself seems all right. I obviously haven't pulled the whole HVAC box out or anything, which I don't know if I'm going to. Like, if I can't find any reason to, everything from basically here down is clean. So I might leave the dash out for a while for when we start fixing things on the floor. I'm going to bolt the steering wheel obviously back up. Not that I'm really driving it right now, but hang it back up and leave the dash out of it. It'll run without the dash in it because all the dash really is just the cluster and the radio and the blower setup. But yeah, it's I didn't expect it to be wrapped all the way around like that in here, but it is what it is. At least the dash out of the way, and I can get all the flammable stuff out of the way as well for welding. But yeah, doing it here on the side of the road on a dolly right now is kind of a pain in the ass. So, but I want to make it so if I get some shop space, it's just cut, weld, and get out of the shop. So I'm not taking up anyone's room or space or anything. But yeah, that's what it looks like with no dash in it. A little more rust than I expected, but at this point, a little more is not that much than what we were already dealing with, at least. got some footage yesterday, but I forgot my phone at home, so I started cutting some of this out so I can get in there and get into that ugly spot there. And then I found out that this is a lot softer than I thought it was gonna be. So I gotta cut all that out and fix that too. And then obviously that little piece up at the top. But I'm basically just gonna continue where I left off and just keep cutting everything back till it's solid, basically. Update. I have that. I ended up panel bonding and seam sealing that to there and welding up here because getting a welder down in there is a total pain in the ass. So that's more than enough because that panel bond is a rust inhibitor as well. And then the seam sealer, and if water gets in there, it should just run past everything now. I painted everything with good automotive paint since I have it. And then we have the piece that I cut off that car. I managed to knock out all the plug welds. I seam sealed where I welded a piece that was also rusted through. I ended up cutting out more than I needed, so it looks worse than it is. But now all I gotta do is grind that down and seal that back up. But that hole's patched now, so all we gotta do really is just slide this on there. And that should be good to go just like that. What's up, bro? Welcome to the shit show. This one's not too bad, though. Burnt the paint a little bit, but I'll probably paint that. But the shitty part's down over there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's taking a lot longer than expected. Every time you get forward a little bit, you find something else wrong. It's ugly right now, but once it's all sealed up and painted, you won't even know. And the windshield right there, you won't even know. Not exactly the right way to do it.
Oh, that looks good, man. That looks great.
Well, hopefully the headlight is on fire on the inside. So we burnt a bit, but it's not actually on fire, just smoldering. We'll be fine. Yeah, that's just smoldering. This is so fucking hot. Right up against it. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it for a few minutes. Here's the update so far. That hole is completely gone for the most part. That hole is gone. I've welded the whole front of this in, which it's ugly, but I can grind that down and make it look nice. Over there, barely can even tell anything was there. There was a tiny hole there that I fixed as well. I've done everything with etched primer so far, so since I'm going to leave this not completely welded and finish that one tomorrow, I want to get all this kind of with at least one coat of paint, start just sealing in what I have done. So I'm just going to go through and get up and around the window, and that should be done for the most part. And then tomorrow I can just focus on this last little corner and basically finish painting everything, and we should be done. There's this side done, all seam sealed. Now just to paint the rest of it, and we're finally done this. It's not professional or anything, but it's all one piece again. And the blue looks really good compared to the faded old blue that's on this car. But it'll be nice the day that this finally gets all painted this color again, because like that looks really nice compared to faded old, almost gray now. But yeah, that's finally it all welded together. Now we just gotta drag it back and put a windshield back into it. Yeah, I remember seeing it.
The little kids got it the next day.
There's all the trim back on. Wiper cowls back on. Wipers are back on. I undercoated everything underneath the wiper cowl. It's all been oil sprayed, so if dirt and crap gets in there, hopefully that will keep the rust down, on top of the fact that there's a fresh, good paint in there. I don't think it's going to rust for a very long time again. And then in here, I oiled some of it in there, so that way when moisture comes down the windshield, hopefully it just kind of runs off all that now. But again, all having fresh, good automotive paint in there should be enough of a barrier to stop it from rusting for a while at least. But yeah, this snowballed into way bigger of a job than I expected it to be. I expected to basically just clean up a lot of the outside rust around here and then just swap the windshield out. I'm not surprised there was holes. I expected to like maybe tack weld a few holes shut or something. I didn't expect the windshield to rip the whole thing out. That being said though, I've had way worse. The 8.6 ripped the whole roof off when I took the windshield out. So I've dealt with it before, and I think this is going to be more than enough to get at least another 30 years out of this car. And everything's brand new looking now and all updated, so it's one of those things where I probably would have torn a lot of this apart anyways just to clean it up eventually. We did have some casualties along the way, like when I was working on it, the air hose kind of scuffed the paint on here a bit, but it's getting repainted. And the mirror, so the mirror had been repaired once, and then it flopped off while I was towing it. I didn't notice until after towing it. So when I took it off, that's when I started to notice there was rust in here, and the fact that this door is completely destroyed. So that kind of sucks, but I'll fix it. It was an electric mirror though, so it's going to be almost impossible to find another electric mirror. I'll probably put a manual mirror back on it for now until I can either take the internals of the electrical one and try to make it work with the standard mirrored body, or find another electric mirror. But yeah, I'll end up just rambling on about all the other crap. There was a few other things that we found, but for the most part, it's got a new windshield. It's watertight. I'm going to try to find a car cover or something to put over it for the winter. Huge shout out to everyone who helped me. I'm used to doing all this stuff by myself, so it's awesome to have some friends that actually are willing to help me with a few things. Huge shout out to Scotty at Kawartha Glass for even finding this windshield, let alone pulling it out for me, having the rust issues, holding on to it for me, and then putting it in later on for me. So like just the total screw around of that, I appreciate it and so much for allowing me to do that. And another huge shout out to Dan. Just like before, he did the exhaust and helped me do everything else with the exhaust on this car. He also gave me room in his other shop to cut and weld all this. And I use his welder, so sorry Dan if I used all your gas. But I appreciate it so much that he gave me room to do this inside instead of out here where it's literally frost every single night and would have rusted just as fast as I cut it apart. And also I can't forget Jake for filming real quick and giving me the files the day that I forgot my cell phone, which is total screw up on my part. I'm recording a video on a car and I forgot my cell phone that one day. So huge shout out to him for getting some footage when I started cutting everything out. Absolute huge shout out to James, because he found me, well, he told me about where the hatch or the parts hatch that I cut this corner out of was, and he also gave me the stuff that I need to fix my welder, which I ended up not using because Dan's welder was way better. I don't have gas, so it would have just been a plug-in 110 volt meg, which tools suck for doing stuff like this. It works when you need it, but so huge shout out to James for just generally helping me get that cut piece and fixing my welder and all the other stuff that he helped me with. He brought me a rear strut bar and a couple other little things. So just, it's been a kind of like a whole team effort to work on this car so far. And I'm super thankful for everybody who's been helping me out with it. But yeah, I think that's it for now. Thanks everyone for watching, subscribing, all that stuff. I plan to make t-shirts and stuff. It'd be nice to just try to make some money towards this because I have no money at all right now. I'm still not working. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got so far. Thanks a lot for watching, and I think we'll give it to Olive to sign off. Say bye everyone, Olive. That's it. That's all you got.